When Republicans in Congress decided to have a quote-unquote historic reading of the Constitution with the purpose of reminding members of Congress of the original intent of the founders, it ended up being a little different than they expected. Democrats didn't run away from the Constitution as a vampire might from the host. They embraced it as well. In fact, a lot of Democrats were more excited to be reading from the Constitution and more familiar with it than a lot of Republicans. It happened that Gabby Giffords, the congresswoman from Arizona, was given the First Amendment to the Constitution. She read about freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the right to assemble, and the right to petition for redress of our grievances. This was her contribution to that historic reading. Just 2 days later, she was shot at a public meeting where people had peaceably assembled to petition for the redress of their grievances. That's the way we should see the recent events in Arizona. This is a constitutional moment, perhaps even a constitutional crisis. In a democracy, the most essential connection, and in fact, the most essential constitutional protection, is of the right of citizens to communicate directly with and consistently with their elected representatives. If that right is undermined, if it is broken in any way, then we are no longer a representative democracy. We become much more of an elite-controlled republic, one where we may have occasional elections, but that period between elections is nothing more than a time when government tells us what it wants, doesn't listen to what we want. So this is an important moment, and as we talk about how to respond to the shootings in Arizona, one of the most vital things that those of us who really care about the Constitution should be thinking of is how we protect the right peaceably to assemble and the right of all citizens to petition for the redress of grievances. This is John Nichols for GRITtv.